welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews and sometimes movie trailer reactions. My goal here is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality as well as content so you can make the best decision for yourself and your family as to whether or not you want to watch a specific movie. Spend your time and your money watching that movie. So, the movie I'm talking about today is Mortal Kombat. No, I didn't say that right. Mortal Kombat. This movie is rated R, and in fact, the red band trailer hit 116 million views in its very first week, becoming the biggest red band trailer of all time. That's kind of amazing. And the reason I point that out is not only because it broke that record, but also because the original 1995 movie, Mortal Kombat, was rated PG-13. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. The movie is an hour and 50 minutes, and I'm going to give you a movie review mom grade for this film at the end of my review. So first, I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents because I used to watch the original with my kids. I'll point out themes that are worth talking about with your family if you choose to watch it with them. And I'll give you some movie recommendations for other films. All right, so in a nutshell, the story is about an MMA fighter, Cole Young, who I'm going to talk more about him in just a minute, who seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high stakes battle for the universe. Dun, dun, dun. If that sounds familiar, then you already might be a fan of the original 1995 Mortal Kombat movie or the video game. My four sons and I watched and loved the original 1995 film, and so I was really excited to see this reboot. Although some people are saying this isn't a reboot, but kind of a prequel. I'm embarrassed to say how many times I actually watched that original movie. So I definitely had expectations. My kids also played the original 1992 video game for years and loved that. Most fans are saying that this new movie is the best movie adaptation of the video game ever. Some fans are freaking out with so much enthusiasm. They are losing their minds because they love this movie so much. It's not perfect, though. They will readily admit that, but they're loving some of the things the movie does do. The movie is directed by Simon McQuoid, who seems to really honor the spirit of the video game, as well as respect the fans and give them what he knows they really wanted. One of the things being an R rating. Now, this movie might thrill fans, but it might possibly confuse and even disappoint regular moviegoers because it just doesn't explain everything. You kind of have to already be immersed into this world and this concept to kind of know what's happening. It's not a deep or a perfect movie, but it's pretty doggone entertaining, especially if you're into fighters around the universe gathering to kick each other's butts. So let me give you a list of things that I liked about the movie. First of all, you only have to wait mere minutes before the very first action scene begins. You don't even see the title card until 13 and a half minutes into the movie. The entire cast appears to have a lot of martial artist experience, which really boosts the action sequences and the fight choreography. There's some very cool special effects, and fans of the original Mortal Kombat will immediately recognize many of the lines straight out of that film. And it's been many years since I'd seen the movie, and I was like, oh man, I remember that line. Josh Lawson plays Kano and absolutely steals every scene that he's in. Unfortunately, Darren Shalavi was supposed to reprise his role as Kano from the original Mortal Kombat movie, but he passed away before production began. So Josh Lawson had big shoes to fill, and he filled them. Here's a fun fact. This is the biggest budgeted movie to ever be filmed in Adelaide and South Australia. Hiroyuki Sanada is the oldest actor to ever play Scorpion. Now, the older I get, the younger this sounds. He's 58 years old. That sounds younger to me now. I mean, I'm not that old yet, but I'm just saying. Max Huang was trained by Jackie Chan as a member of the Jackie Chan stunt team. And this is Louis Tan's first leading role in a big feature film. He also did stunt work in The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and his father, Philip Tan, had his Batman career launched by the same studio. I'm not surprised that the costumes are way more sophisticated than in the 1994-5 version. They're just pretty dang cool. So visually, the movie is pretty stunning. Now, there are some things that I didn't like. First of all, there's a new character introduced in the film that isn't in the video game, Cole Young. Some fans are questioning why he's even in the movie and if his presence adds to the story or not. They're also wondering why we don't get to see the actual tournament in this movie. So, what the what? In the very first movie, there's some tournament action, which, was super fun. There is some playful banter, although it doesn't really start until about 38 minutes into the movie. The original movie, I felt, my memory of it is that it was a little bit more playful than this one. Definitely less violent and dramatic and bloody as this one, but also just a little bit more funny. One of the things I would have liked would be to see a training sequence or something when, the good guys first all meet and they prepare for Mortal Kombat. This movie also is a rare example of too little exposition. There just isn't nearly enough explaining as there should be for those who are unfamiliar with the video game or even the original movie. Like I said, they're just going to be maybe a little lost and think, this is a really dumb movie. There are some changes to characters in the video game. For example, Liu Kang and Kung Lao are simply friends in the video game, but in this movie, they're cousins. And I don't know why they had to be related. They could have just been friends, whatever. In real life, though, both of the actors worked on Jackie Chan's stunt team. Great athletic ability. Not all of the characters are given interesting backstories or even screen time. So many of the scenes are really dark and will be hard to watch on streaming devices. So just a heads up, again, my memory of the original movie is that there were more outdoor fight scenes, whereas in this movie, a lot of them are indoors, most of them. One of the things that surprised me is that you don't even get to hear that classic Mortal Kombat theme song until the very end of the movie during the final rolling credits. I don't know why. Some of the other music is just kind of pounding sounds and kind of started to give me a little bit of a headache. So I wish they would have used some more of the music, maybe from the original soundtrack if they were allowed to. Now, ultimately, some of the dialogue is just really dumb, but honestly, it's pretty true to the source material of the video game. Some of the scenes and story pieces felt a little rushed. And again, things just kind of breeze through as if you already know the story. So the movie overall felt like it was really made for the fans. All right, so let me give you some tips for parents because as I explained earlier, I watched the original movie with my young boys. Now, if this movie came out, it's not a movie that I would have them watch as young kids because there is a lot of violence with brutal deaths, bloodthirsty gore, massive blood splatters. In fact, Louis Tan admitted that he often felt sick on the set because of some of the gruesome scenes. Well, that's saying something. The 1995 movie, again, was rated PG-13 and way more family friendly. This rated R version just is way too excessive for young kids to watch in terms of all of those things. There are a few subtitles to read. There is some profanity with F-bombs. I mean, the movie is rated R. Now, let me point out some themes that I thought the movie illustrated well. Teamwork, of course, because you get these band of fighters together trying to sacrifice for the good of the world, planet Earth. Identity is also interesting because this new character is trying to figure out where he came from and why he has this mark on his shoulder. And so he learns about himself and his abilities and capabilities. Other themes are legacy and good versus evil, power, of course. and greed. So whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I share them on my written movie review at moviereviewmom.com. So you can see my full movie review there. I'll just share one of them with you right now, just because I thought it was kind of funny. So this is a line from Josh Lawson playing Kano, of course, because his character is really the comic relief of the entire movie. And so they're talking about all these things that he can and can't do, but he says, I also do foot massages. He's this big tough guy, you know. And then there are some interesting lines. This one I remember from the original movie. This is spoken by Scorpion, and he says, the time has come to begin the combat. Take anything you like, but their souls are mine. Ah. Later, Scorpion says, death is only another portal, which I believe actually is true, but I thought was interesting in the movie. All right, so it's not the greatest movie of all time, but for fans, this can be a really great, fun time. So for those reasons, I'm giving this movie an overall rating of a B. So before we go, let me give you a recommendation for one movie that you need to see if you haven't seen this movie, and that is the original Mortal Kombat. All right, I hope if you watch this movie, you're prepared and that you enjoy it. When you get a minute, be sure and subscribe and ring that little bell. It'll notify you every time I upload a new movie review or trailer reaction, which is almost every single day. Thanks for all of your support on Patreon. And now you can follow me on my new profile on Instagram, which is Movie Review Mom, just like our Facebook group, which is Movie Review Mom. You can also follow me as Trina Boice on both of those places too. All right, until the next movie review, bye for now.